Hi, I'm Jonathan Copsey, editor of the Milton Herald.
And I'm Tim Enlow with AccessMilton.com.
This upcoming fall, we have partnered together to bring you the 2011 Milton City Council elections.
Candidate interviews will be showcased in both the Milton Herald and on AccessMilton.com.
We look forward to bringing you the latest news on the elections.
Hey folks, Tim Enlow here today on AccessMilton.com. A lot of folks probably are aware another election is around the corner, and today we are honored to have with us District 6 candidate Lance Large. Lance, thank you for joining us.
Tim.
Appreciate it. Much like you guys remember last time around, we're doing 5 questions. Jonathan Copsey of the Milton Herald gave these same 5 questions to current council member in District 6, Alan Tart. So here are the questions for Lance, same questions. Lance.
Can I say, welcome everybody to my home. Karen Lee's in my home, and glad to have you all here. The opportunity to speak to Access Milton and to Jonathan. Thank you.
Sounds good, sounds good. Okay, first question. At the end of this year, a review commission will be appointed and asked to study the city's first 5 years of operation. Review the city's charter and will have the opportunity to recommend changes. If you put yourself in the shoes of this review panel, what is the single most impactful change you would recommend?
The single most impactful change.
An impactful change, correct.
In terms of the city charter?
Correct.
In the first 5 years of operation of the city. I know when we were chartered as a city, there was a limitation put on certain operational functions of the city. To look at certain of those limitations to make sure they still apply. I know, and one of the things that I'm very much for and campaigning for is I do not want to see the residents of Milton, especially the homeowners of Milton, taxed more.
Okay, okay.
Millage rate is generally the way you're taxed. I mean, you're also taxed through sales tax as well. I know millage rate in the city is controlled by the way the city was set up. That was not allowed to change the millage rate within the first 5 years. And then after 5 years, they are allowed to look at the millage rate adjustment, but it is minimal.
Okay.
If anything, that would be not to change. Would be do not change that in terms of being able to affect millage rate.
Okay. Okay. So,
as far as the rest of the operations, I mean, the city obviously, like any new entity, has had some hiccups, some growing pains, managerially, and the council hiring staff, bringing on CH2M Hill, going through that experience, going beyond CH2M Hill. But I think generally, I think the city has been fairly successful working through some of those issues in the first 5 years. So I really don't see any significant changes that need to be made.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Okay. Sure. Question number 2. Milton wants to be characterized by having a small town rural feel. This sense of community can be enhanced by residents interacting and participating in community events. At the same time, some residential neighborhoods have suggested gating their entrances to keep out unwanted traffic. This would appear to be contrary to promoting the sense of community the city desires. Should the city encourage this or seek other means of addressing the perceived problem?
Well, first, I guess, potentially gated community was just approved off of Francis Road. It's only involved 9 homes. The one most prominent that comes to everyone's mind is the move to gate Crooked Creek mainly because of the traffic. Gating is especially after you've actually designed and occupied a development, can be very controversial for those that live within the community. Although there are a lot of gated communities in this area. We lived in Florida for a short period of time, in Sarasota, and the land of gated communities there. They do allow for more security. They do allow for restricted access, frankly, personally, I didn't like living in a gated community.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved here, we told ourselves we wanted to live in a smaller neighborhood and a non-gated community. We didn't like that idea of having restricted access to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the city's position on it,
Mm-hmm.
I know they have modified, I think the state has modified the rules. The city has looked at making it a little, I guess, easier in terms of the number of people that have to be in favor of in order for a road to be privatized. Frankly, I think it is up to the individual community if they want to pursue this. It's a very complicated. The article I read in your paper, which is a very good article, what I read is it is a very complicated process and not always very simple. Again, I come from the engineering and survey background. My
Mm-hmm.
father was a surveyor,
Mm-hmm.
and we dealt with a lot of land issues. And so it's not always a straight cut, simple process. When you're dealing with a community of, say, 9 homes, much easier. And they got 100%. And all 9 homes decided that's what we want to be. Want to privatize our street. We're willing to take on the maintenance.
Right.
Which is, I guess, a bonus for Milton, the fact that the taxpayers, will no longer have to pay for the maintenance of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of a benefit to the city, it is benefit that. In that case, I don't see where it really detracts from the sense of community. Now, when you take a large area like Crooked Creek,
Mm-hmm.
I can see both sides of that. People use that as a cut through from Francis. That's part of the problem. And there's a lot of homes at front on that road that runs from Francis to Highway 9. And that's part of the problem there.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe they can get a super majority of people, which I believe is like 75% of their homeowners association, of the residents that live in there,
Mm-hmm.
to agree to it, and are willing to take on the responsibility of maintenance and everything,
Mm-hmm.
that they could get. But again, there are other things. I've mentioned this to even Councilman Longoria
Mm-hmm.
about that. There are things on prescriptive rights that people have been traveling that way over a number of years and may have claims of prescriptive rights and things like that. So it's not a clear-cut, simple thing. But I do believe in property rights, and if the community decides that's what they'd like to be,
Mm-hmm.
like we have many other gated communities in Milton already,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Alpharetta and other parts of North Fulton, then I believe it should be
Okay.
possible.
Okay, great. Third question. Milton has elected to be characterized as an equestrian community and has adopted the outline of a horse as its logo. Do you believe the city's current zoning and other ordinances adequately address the needs of this equestrian community, especially in those cases when equestrian uses are adjacent to residential uses?
Well, this area, I mean, the character of this area is what it was when we decided to become a city. Okay. We basically adopted a lot of the same rules and regulations that North Fulton had, even to the fact that we initially adopted the land use plan that North Fulton had. Of course, they recently amended the land use plan for the city, the comprehensive land use plan. I believe that there is a definite equestrian community here, people that really enjoy and get a lot of benefit out of having horses and riding horses. At this point, in terms of the current codes, I don't see anything that really restricts that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I came from